If you have an old Lincoln Town Car, an old Ford, and your windows aren't working, but you can hear the motor in there turning, but the windows are just not going up or down. Almost always this is what's going on. When you turn the switch on for your window, there's a shaft here with a gear on it, and when that turns this gear, and this gear, let's see, catches on to 3 pieces of plastic, round pieces of plastic that go in here, and they catch on, where the hell is it? Right there. To this, and that turns this gear, and that's what makes your windows go up and down. Okay? So what usually happens with the inside of these motors is those little round plastic pieces, they melt and they break. And especially in warm climates like Florida in the summertime, if you roll your windows up and you leave your car out in the sun, they break. And I don't know if you can see all these little pieces of plastic here. Well, they used to be around, and they used to be sitting in these little slots here, which catch this gear and spins it and turns your window down and up. So instead of going out and buying a whole new motor, which a lot of people do, or paying a mechanic $200 a window, you can get out of this for dirt cheap by cleaning this out, taking this motor apart, and cleaning out all these little pieces, taking this gear out, it just pulls right out of there, washing all this out, lubing it up, sticking those pieces back in, putting it back together, sticking it in the car, and you're as good as new. Now, a lot of people are replacing these little plastic things with round metal ball bearings, and I'm just learning this as I do a little research on the internet, and they'll last forever if you do that. If you just replace them with these plastic things, you're going to probably get 80 or 90,000 miles out of it, and they're going to go on you again. I'm also learning that, well, my first thought was, okay, they do this, they use this cheap ass plastic to make the windows quiet when they go up and down, but that's not all there is to it, folks. If a kid gets his arm stuck in the window and has like his knee on the switch and it's going up, instead of breaking that kid's arm or, God forbid, cutting it off, these things break. So it's a Ralph Nader safety feature. The window is made to break, the motor is made to break if there's some kind of obstruction, so people don't get too seriously hurt. It's probably still going to break his arm, but you know, the damage will be minimal because these things are going to break. So that's what's happening, and I'm going to show you how to get these out of the car, take it apart and get them out of the car, take the motor apart, replace these cheap ass bearings, lube it up and clean it up and put it back together, and your windows are going to be like new. We're working on the back passenger side door now. Once you get the door panel off, by the way, all Ford door motors on this car are fried, and the access screws are. There's a little clip that goes right. That's the door handle. There's a little clip that goes over that. You gotta pop them off, and you gotta screw here, and there's that screw there. And if you come down here, screw at the top, and the rest of it are those those plastic doohickeys, and all you have to do is pry up, and it'll pop off. And then you can leave it hanging there by the wire, sort of like this. You can go ahead and disconnect them if you want, but there's no reason to do that. And then you're going to lift this up out of the way, and you've got access to your door motor, or your window motor. And I can keep this up here. If you reach back behind there, you'll feel it right there. And there's only 3 rivets holding it in. There's 1, 2, and there's 3 there. And you're going to have to drill them out. And I know that's a pain in the ass, but that's what you do. You just sit there and you hold a drill and you drill it through the center until that center piece comes out. And then the rest of it will just crush up and you can pull it out with pliers. But you don't have to. See, people take this track off, they take the window off, they take the door handle off, they take all the electrics apart and all this crazy shit. And you will have to disconnect this right here, and all you gotta do is lift up on that and pull it apart. And yeah, you're gonna have to disconnect that, I believe. Yeah. And you're gonna get, once you drill these out, you can get the motor to about here. And then you're actually going to start taking the motor apart when it gets to here, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Alright. Once you pop those 3 rivets out, this motor, this is your electric window motor. That you can manipulate on most cars. On this one, you can manipulate it to about right there. And what we're going to do now is there's 3 nuts here. There's 1, 2, and 3 right there. And we're going to take them out, and this plate here will come off. Just set that aside. And this motor will disconnect from this doohickey. Okay? And then we can take the motor into the shop, take it apart, and see what's going on inside. So we're going to work on that now. There's only one screw holding this plate on. It's right there. And we gotta get this black plate off so we can see what's going on. It's real simple. And this, with a little coaxing, should pop right off. And now, let's see if you can see the inside of this thing. All that ground up plastic here used to be these things right here. And they fit down in those slots down there. But they got all broken up, and that's why the window doesn't work. So let's see if we can continue. Got to continue here. And this, no, it's all greasy. This one is not in as bad a shape as the last one, believe it or not. This little gear pops right out of there. And again, you can see all the little broken pieces of plastic in there. That used to be these gizmos. Now, if you do this, folks, we've decided to use the plastic pieces of crap on this and not use the metal ball bearings that I explained in the intro video. And we're gonna get all this cleaned up, and we're gonna take this gear out of here, and we're gonna lube it up and everything like that. But for now, I'm gonna show you how these sit in there at the end of each triangle. Like that there. And then this Scooby-Doo. You see how that has cutouts on it? Well, that goes around the edge of every one of them. And it presses down in there. It's a little bit tricky because these things want to float around, but once you get them all set and everything lined up, just press that on a little bit. Put it back together. Put it in the car and you're good, man. You're like brand new there. So for the last video, I'll catch up with you. Video spliced together for the master video. I'm gonna make one long video after I splice them all together and edit them, so you're seeing the raw uncooked video. When you pull that plastic gear out, there's a little O-ring right there. Can you see that? There's that upside down. Uh-oh. We'll get it right, don't worry. There's a little O-ring right in the center there, and it makes it a little bit difficult to pull this gear past it. Let's just pop it up, pull it past it. cleaning up this motor. Oh, it's a little bit dirty. And the hardest part here is getting all that black gunk out of there. But you can do it. It's just dirt. Your gear's in good shape. And there's a shaft that goes through here and it has a gear on it. And you ever watch those poles outside a barber shop where it has a line on it and it looks like the line's moving and more lines keep coming up? You know what I'm talking about? Probably not. I don't explain things very good unless I'm writing them. Well, there ain't no things coming up. It just looks that way. It's like an optical illusion. And this thing works off the same principle. I call it a barber shop shaft. See it in there, right there? It's just a shaft spinning around, but the gear catches on to this gear, and that's what spins. Comprende? Right, comprende. So if we're going to continue to clean this up, get all the gunk out of there. Sorry, I'll edit that out. I'm getting a cough. Like a chest cough, chest virus, something's going on in there. I had it before and it came back. I think something's going around where I play cards out on Sunday. Every time Monday rolls around, I've got a cough. It's not cool. If you take a toothpick and stuff and get it in all these little holes and take that old grease out, you really don't have to do that. Just get the dirt out of there. Just make sure it's clean. And take some new grease and just stick it everywhere in here. Yeah, I use my hands. Some people use like a putty knife and stuff. No need for that. And be generous with it, but not over generous. All around this gear. So you got a metal gear on it. Going, turning a plastic gear. Anytime you have that, you want grease on it. Actually, anytime you have two gears turning each other, you gotta make sure everything's nice and greasy. Push that down. Add some more to the cup. Careful with where you're putting these brand new spanking. This is important. The reason I decided not to go with the metal ball bearings in these things is because the car's going up for sale soon. And I don't know who's going to buy it. And I don't know if they're going to have pets and kids. But if the dog or the youngster gets stuck in the window, these plastic things break, where the metal balls won't. It'll do a lot of damage, put it that way. And it's not a pretty scenario, and I don't want to be responsible for that. If it was my car, I would put the metal ball bearings in, and I would just be extra careful. Also, if somebody, lays on the window switch, and you have metal ball bearings in here, eventually it's gonna burn out the motor instead of these breaking. Once again, these are made to break, just for that purpose. There's been cases where dogs are hanging out the window and their paw is on the window thing, and it's just an ugly thing to think about. And I don't want to be responsible. I don't know who's getting this car. They might have 5 kids and 17 dogs, and next thing I know, So you get the picture there, and that's why we're going with the plastic things. These won't last as long, but they're safe. They're safer than metal, put it that way. Well, this can be a little bit of a chore here, making sure these things ain't cocked, so we can press this gear onto here. You gotta get it lined up just perfect. It's probably the hardest part of the whole job. They tend to want to have a mind of their own almost. Alright, so they're all in there, and those little gizmos were tough to get in, or the gear is tough to get in once the little gizmos are in, if you know what I'm talking about. There they are right there, sitting down there nice and pretty. Everything's tight. We're going to add a little more grease to the top. And some grease to this gear. Very greasy. Right. Make sure this plate is all cleaned up. Just get the little chunks of stuff out of there. You don't want them getting caught. And a paper towel will do it. This one wasn't real screwed up, so. Whatever. Screw it back onto there. Where's my blooming nut? I lost my blooming nut. I put it on the screw holes so I didn't lose it, and I lost it. Let's go put it back in the car now. It's hard to do one hand here. Back out of there. You see that little square hole right there? That's to hang this thing right here. So at the factory, they just kind of weaseled in there and to free their arm. See if I can find this hole. They just kind of let it hanging right there. You see it? So they just come and they lay it on there, and then they line up these holes here. Then they pop their rivets and pop, 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 and they're done, and they're off to the next car. That's why they do that. We're putting good old-fashioned nuts and bolts in there. You can see how I hacked this up when I drilled it out. These things were a pain in the butt to drill out. But I got them out and I couldn't help it. Hack it, it doesn't matter, nobody's gonna see it. I put little lock washers back there so you don't have to hold that bolt while you're screwing that screw. And it's already nice and tight. We're probably going to have to loosen it to line these up a little better. Yeah, but I just wanted to get it in and do the other ones, and we'll come back after I get that done. See these little jobbers here? Make sure they're straight and that they're lined up with the holes before you jam it back in. You can buy new ones, but if you want to save a couple dollars, they're still usable. It's no big deal. this car we've been working on. I'm sure you're familiar with it by now. It's a Lincoln Town car. Where every single door motor is toast. But that's the motor we were working on. Yeah. Look at that there. Isn't that awesome? Oh god, it's like electric. I brought it up and down a couple times. It's all like, oh my god, it's like magic. Yeah, I get off on this. I like working on cars. And now, this is finally done. I said what the hardest parts on this were drilling out the rivets. It's always a nasty thing to do. And the bolts that I used to put the motors back in, they were a little bit too small. And I had a lot of trouble finding the end of the nuts, or the bolts, to put the nuts on. And I kept dropping them down into there. And yeah, I have a cold. Actually, I think it's more than a cold, it's like a virus. And I caught it playing poker like a dumbass, but check this out, I could sit here all day and do this. It is so nice to have power windows after you haven't had them for a while. And yeah, we're gonna get this Lincoln Town car all cleaned up and all ready for sale, and we're probably going to ask about $2,800 for it. And trying to get out at the minimal cost so we can turn the greatest profits. Profit is the American way. I hope you guys learned something. I really do. I hope I saved some people some money. And I hope somewhere along the line I put a smile on your face. And that's what it's all about. Peace, y'all.